folks. Sorry we're starting a little late. That's my fault. My last panel ran long. Maybe this panel will run long too as well. All right, let's jump off. We are talking about this thing. I heard this agentic AI thing is like a thing. It's going to transform the industry. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Where we are, where we're going, what does our agentic future look like? Where are we on the maturity curve of agentic? Is a lot of the topics that we're going to cover today. But before we dive into that, I'll introduce myself. I am Tony Katzer, CEO of the IB Tech Lab. Who's familiar with the IB Tech Lab? This has been a great can, because the show of hands has been really high. Even some brands were like, we know who you are. I'm like, you do? Oh my God. And I will let the rest of the panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm John Roberts. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at People Incorporated.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kimberly Jones, and I'm the CEO of Butler Till. We're a media agency that specializes in the messy types of clients. So lots of regulated industries, healthcare, financial services, and multi-local.
Speaking of messy, I'm Chris Buckhead. I'm the founder and CEO of Deep Intent. We're a healthcare DSP, so know the space well.
I am Tyler Ramasco, EVP of Commercial at OpenX.
So this is a great representation of the industry to a large extent. We have a publisher, we have an agency, we have buy-side technology, we have sell-side technology. The only thing we're really missing is a brand, but I would argue not all of the brands are necessarily deeply immersed in agentic as of yet. Maybe next year they would be on the panel with us, but this is a great representation of the industry. So quick show of hands in the room. Raise your hand if you're a publisher. Okay. Raise your hand if you're an agency or a brand. Okay, great. Raise your hand if you're ad tech.
My people.
Okay.
Our people.
Okay.
Our people.
The qualifying question was asked. We know who's in the room. Okay, great. Let's start with a level setting question for the group. Agentic is the theme. I think last year felt like it was heavy CTV measurement even, and then AI was just entering the picture. And this year it's the flip of that. But this is something that's been around for maybe 8 months or so. The concept of agentic in our ecosystem, the core protocols that power it are not even 18 months old. Where are we, John, let's start with you and go down the panel. Where are we in the maturity curve of agentic in our industry?
I think at CES people said everyone's talking about it, nobody's doing it. And I think now we're a little over the line to like real proof points, real case studies. In our case, I think the moment it became very real internally is when we set 8 different agents in their own Slack channel who can now do full-blown analytics. They each have access to different data sets. And because it was built by an engineering team, they named them after Sesame Street characters. Lesson to the room, how you name an agent determines its personality if it's called Elmo. And yes, Oscar is a... Thank you. Grouch is a much better word than what I was going to say. Word to the wise. It is amazing to see it starting to work. We have sell-side agents. We build a lot of our tech in. It's really exciting to see it start to become real and also find the places where it's still hard, difficult, and has to be hammered through. It's great when you get to the real problems because then you know you're doing real work.
Yeah, I think that we are maybe just past the point of experimentation. We ran our first fully agentic campaign towards the end of 2025. And since then, slowly but surely, more and more of our clients, I did mention that we work in healthcare, so it tends to be a little bit of a conservative category, but more and more of our clients are interested in starting to test.
Yeah, I want to dive into the healthcare aspect of this a little bit further down the panel questions. Where are we? I know it's FIFA World Cup right now. We're in Europe, but I only know baseball analogies. Are we first pitch, first inning? Where are we in our journey?
Yeah, probably. I think in terms of activation, I think it's still early, but to your point, I think we're beyond the proof of concept. I think we have working prototypes of how it could work and how it is working. Mm-hmm. I think we all have used agentic, some sort of AI assistant in some way. We see our clients using AI now a lot in the planning process. And I think that's depending on if your question is scoped to just activation or other parts of the process. I see it fully being used on the planning process right now. Yep. And we have tools that we've implemented with our clients, and we're seeing 50% plus improvement in the planning cycle times. Like they're just able to churn out really solid proposals faster and with better quality and precision.
Is that because there's just more efficient discovery of content, discovery of audience, like the efficiency it brings to that?
We're putting data in the hands of people who need it, and it's like a lot of it, I think it's just like we're making decisions faster with more data than ever before, right? And I think it's kind of like the analogy that I tell my team is like there used to be a job called computer, right? And like that, if you guys watch, there's like I forget the name of the movie, but there's a movie about like in NASA, they had like a bunch of women like doing like the actual calculations. I'm totally blanking on the name now. Hidden Figures, thank you. That used to be a full-time job called computer, and then they created the calculator, and now the calculator, it's allowed us all to do more strategic work and kind of up-level the whole conversation, right? And like do more types of innovative work, and like I think that's where we're kind of in that transition moment now with AI.
Tyler, where are we? Because there's a lot of I see buys. This, by the way, this is the first time I've ever seen this shift. Buy side aggressively moving into this, where I see sell side a little more like, let's test around with this. But buy side's like, let's go. What are you seeing?
I think that's true. I might go a little bit different. It's funny. I think the supply side is coming along quickly, right? Especially as you start to think about supply side decisioning and intelligence, which I think we'll get into a little bit later and things like that. I'm going to go a little bit different because, first of all, I agree with every single person here. To answer your question directly, Tony, we are in the top of the third.
Wow, you put us that far?
I am, but it's for a very specific reason. The way I always ground people is when we think about programmatic, go back 15 years, go back more than that. We've always been an AI first industry, right? Yeah. So machine learning, big data, models for decisioning, right? For us, I'm giving us top of the third because our experience is further along, meaning how AI and humans interact to drive value for and outcomes for businesses, either your own or your partners or things like that. So while agentic and generative AI is very different and it's propelling us into new areas and solving new things, I think we have an advantage over other industries because we've been through similar things before. Mm-hmm. And we've experienced how those things can last and be in harmony together to drive business and outcomes. So I'm giving us a little bit more based off of just the experience and our backgrounds and where we come from, because I feel like we're a bit more adaptable overall.
I think I can get behind that kind of analogy. Yeah, the third inning, you shocked us, and then you laid out your argument well. Well done.
I had to say something different.
Butler Till, you mentioned you did your first fully agentic buy in December of last year.
Yes.
When did it click that this is moving from, this is not a buzzword anymore, like this is true, tangible impact on you and your client's business? Was there a moment where you're like, there was the aha, like, oh my God, this is a thing?
Well, I think as an independent agency, we're always trying to be on the forward-leaning side of innovation. And so we're continually looking, especially to our partners, for opportunities, for those test and learns, for those beta opportunities. And so I guess I'm trying to think if there was ever a moment. I mean, it's just in our nature to want to be first. And so part of it was wanting to kind of lead the pack a little bit and make sure that we were learning so that we could apply. I mean, there wasn't any expectation of higher performance necessarily out of the gate, but we knew if we didn't start somewhere, we would never get ahead.
Right. How about deep intent?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in terms of the adoption curve internally, like it was a very deliberate, I think after CES, I think when like the new Opus model was at 4.6 at the time came out, like that was, everything just became possible. Like we were able to now integrate this technology and how we were coding. I mean, I'm now actually developing again, which is fun. I mean, not a lot, but like I can actually just do my first PR. Like I push some a feature to prod.
CEO is coding.
Wild.
CEO is
it's
coding.
Wild, dude.
Short the business.
Wild. My engineering team hates me for it, but it's fine. No, but I think it's actually more indicative of how it's like actually starting to become like all the barriers are collapsing. Like product teams, engineering teams, business teams, you need the context to feed the AI in order to do the job that it needs to do. And I think that like streamlining and integrating all these teams together, like our team sizes are moving into smaller, more discrete units or kind of like smaller teams of developers and product engineering teams. And they're just moving way faster than our larger like monolithic way of building code. And it's like time efficiency is just incredible right now.
But did you have a moment where you're like, oh, wow, there's efficiency here? Was it?
Yeah, totally. And actually, I think the efficiency of what's happening now, or where we're realizing it, is actually in the flow of information around our organization.
It's flowing faster.
Everything is flowing faster. Decisioning is happening quicker. Stakeholders are getting the insights that they need to drive our business faster than ever before. And we're just like across all aspects of our business, we're flying.
Got it.
It's really good.
Tyler, I mean, you mentioned earlier, we're in the World Series in terms of our phaser, right? No, I'm kidding. Top of the third inning. What's been the aha moment for OpenX? You were like, wow, this could be transformative.
It's for us, it's a change in behavior, right? In our industry, we've gone through so many different things where things have taken off and then they've kind of pulled back. We think a lot about, I think, the end result, and we talk about the end result, but it doesn't actually change the behavior. So over the course of programmatic, I think too, things like quality come top of mind for me, where we still have a ton of quality issues. Those could be solved through behavioral changes. How do we spend money? Who do we invest in? This is one of the first times I remember that it's a full behavioral change. So like when you walk into, well, internally when we walk in, we're changing teams and we're shaping teams around this, right? We're hiring talent around this. Externally, we're having those conversations about how should they staff their teams, how should they be thinking about innovative products. So it's about the change in behavior, I think, for us was the aha moment, not just about the end result, but people's actual actions representing where we're going.
Yeah, that I'm hearing that behavioral change is happening quickly in organizations. JR, what about in publishers? I mean, you got the cast of Sesame Street there.
Yep.
What-
It's I'm telling you, Elmo, Rosalita, they're all helping out. So no, it's true. Like I think a lot of stuff in innovation, and it's a very fuzzy title, usefully, right? It means I can do anything. It's great. Nobody knows what I do, which is wonderful, including my boss. He's fine with it.
I think I kind of know what you do.
Yeah, no, you know a lot of the stuff that I've done for sure, because we've been in the weeds on a lot of it. You see, a lot of people see innovation as like cracking big, hard problems, right? And I think one of the things that AI does is it makes the cost of asking a question very cheap, right? Which means suddenly things that were expensive are cheap, and you're like, oh, we can now take on this big, hard problem, right? And that's 100% true. The thing that I find really interesting is when people ask dumb questions. Because when you can do like dumb, silly things and play with it, that is when you get like invention, creation, like kicking stuff around. Like so, like the Sesame Street example is a trivial one, but as soon as I saw that, it's like, oh, we are comfortable with this. Like we are having fun with this. We're going to create some incredible things. I think from an ads perspective, we held off actually on the agentic buying thing for quite a while because it was a little unclear what the actual KPI was that we're trying to, like, what is the problem we're solving? On the like ad targeting, ad creation, high impact stuff, we've been doing that for a couple of years and we've got some like astonishing ROI numbers. We're now in the world of like guaranteeing incremental ROAS to our customers for agentic buying paths, right? And it's doing incredibly well. On the agentic buying side, the question we had was, is this an opportunity to go more direct to the supply and cut out a bunch of the ad tech tax? Sorry to all the people here whose trips were paid for by the ad tech tax, but like a $10 buy is $5 when it gets to the publisher, which often falls below our open market and gets 1% win rates. Like that's a bad path, right? Is it efficiency, right? Which every agency in the world is getting asked for at the moment because you headline efficiency and people want lower prices, right? That's tough. And efficiency is hard, as like we all know, right? Making that shift in the company is difficult. Is it actually driving better performance? Or is it AI jazz hands, right? Which I would put as like also valuable, and there's a lot of marketers, and it has huge value, right? And the answer is we found out all of the above, but some of those have like very concrete KPIs, and I think it's come into clarity, maybe even in the last like month, from different partners, which one they want to really go after. And now, to your point, we have the tools to chase each of those specifically, even the jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands are important. I mean, real buzz around the industry is absolutely important. So this panel is comprised of independent companies. People Inc.'s an independent media company.
Absolutely.
Right? Butler Till, independent agency, Deep10, independent DSP, OpenX, an independent SSP. Now compare that to, you've got the Metas, the Googles, the Amazons of the world, right? You know, that have the ability to operate their own LLMs to power their own proprietary agentic workflows. Let's start with Butler Till, because I think you guys have been really pioneers here. Where do you see the advantage that an independent agency has versus non-independents or larger holdcos or the Googles of the world in this AI race?
Yeah, so I think pre-AI, we used to still pride ourselves on just being absolutely agnostic in terms of the channel and the medium in which we're recommending to our clients, because we, at the end of the day, want to do what's in their best interest and not through some other motivating factor. And the same is true today. So we believe in an open architecture. We believe in creating the right tech stack that includes data partners, supplies partners, publishers, certainly, that are going to solve their very unique needs. I mentioned earlier that we work in very complicated categories, and so there's not often kind of a one-size-fits-all mentality when it comes to especially programmatic media. And so I think the advantage is we can use whoever we want. We can use whoever is the best partner, and we can experiment with a lot of partners to find the absolute very best one for a particular use case. And that's something that a lot of the holdcos can't do. It's a little bit of the hammer and the nail kind of mentality. If you have this thing, then you always have to use this thing, and we're not beholden to those same constraints.
Right. So agentic workflows enable you to almost shrink wrap solutions on a bespoke client
I
basis.
was going to use the same word. Yes, absolutely bespoke. And I think clients, you mentioned before, not a client up here, not a brand up here, because I think they're a little bit shy in some cases in AI, especially our categories. And so they really want to understand how it's all going to work. And just saying that you have this big solution, I mean, they want to know, but how's it going to work for me? Where exactly are you getting the data sources? How exactly are they being applied? Are they HIPAA compliant? You know, how are you getting around certain types of regulations in a very compliant way?
Right.
And, you know, we're able to do that and actually demonstrate the use case and not just say, hey, we have this thing.
Same question for Deep in Town.
Yeah.
Like, what's the advantage over big tech? In the AI race?
I think what one thing we pride ourselves on, and it depends how you define independent, right? But I think the benefit here is that we are not beholden to like a legacy media business. We're not a publisher. We don't have, we're not trying to like sell our media, but also sell you technology. Like we are very clearly, we know our swim lane, and that's to be a software company, right? We are, and increasingly it's turning into like this intelligence layer that our moat is the data. It's the health data assets that we've integrated directly into how we buy. We have the DSP, which is today the activation platform. We're agnostic. I'm sure at some point we're going to be doing a lot more agentic buying as well, and A to A or whatever the model is. But the point being is that we have developed, and I think agentic is doing nothing but accentuating, or is that a word? Basically just making it clear that where we are so clearly differentiated and how fast we can move it at expressing that differentiation into solutions, into insights that actually drive meaningful business. And results.
Tyler, same question.
I think that some of the disadvantage we've probably experienced as independent companies, or maybe just against bigger ones, are their solutions to problems where to just throw more bodies at it, right? FTE models, whatever it might be, walled gardens, things like that. The difference now is to me, feels like it's starting to level a playing field, right? It's about independent companies have done a phenomenal job, I think, hiring and securing talent, right? Like, we talk about curiosity and driven when we hire, and people who can be super adaptable, but they've been weighed down in the monotonous day-to-day work and the manual processes that we've had. So when I think about agentic and generative AI and how it can help automate some of that, it's freeing the incredibly talented people we've hired up to go do the important stuff, which is the high-value work of relationship building, driving strategy, working with clients to deep understand their business. So I think the advantage we have is finally freeing up people for what we hired them to do, which we haven't historically been able to do because they've been weighed down in everything else.
Right. I'm hearing it's a combination of agility, moving people out of rote tasks and moving them more to creative or strategic. Like no one wakes up in the morning and says, I can't wait to reconcile some campaigns today, right? like
I'm sure that person exists.
There's a handful. They're not here. I can tell you, they're likely not here. So agility, repurposing of talent, putting the highest and best use. You want to weigh in on that one?
Yeah, I think, look, we have long and complicated relationships with platforms. I think I'm legally allowed to say all of those words in that sentence. The platform advantage has always been having tens of thousands of engineers, right? I now have tens of thousands of engineers in my pocket, right? We can now build a search engine, which I did, and I sent it to my friend at Microsoft to poke him because it was better than theirs, and like he got competitive, and I was like, dude, I built this on a weekend, and you're $1 trillion hyperscaler in search. This is not a fair fight, but now I know what really annoys you. Then we can work together. Let's make it happen. absolutely the comment about bespoke, like artisanal farm to table at scale. The ability to take the things we do incredibly well and scale it is unique now to what was possible before. A good example of this, like so we're a massive publisher. We run health, food, finance, tech, auto, beauty, right? The whole spectrum, right? And we have all the collaborative filtering data over years and years of people who read this also read that, right? It's a treasure trove of insights. One of the things we're able to do once we threw like AI on top of this to go mine for insights, the best predictor you're going to go onto an arthritis medication outside of endemic health content, right? Because that one's easy, right? You don't need systems to go find that, is in Brides magazine, right? And it's one article, and it's how do I resize my wedding ring? Now that is a person who has a problem, is dealing with it in their life, not in their medical treatment, which is so much of people's lived experience, and they're finally taking action. So they're at the point of they're dealing with the problem, which is exactly when they're primed to also make the healthcare decision. We have 1.2 million documents. We have about 1 trillion overlaps between those 1.2 million documents, and we can mine that for connections. It was really inefficient to do that with human researchers. It is way more efficient to do that with AI. So that is a wealth of stories and storytelling and narratives that help us meet our clients where they need to be and bring them to their consumers at the point where they're actually making a choice.
Yeah. Fair point.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Tyler, you were talking about how AI has transformed repurposing of talent within OpenX. How is it transforming how you're building OpenX, how you're hiring? What skill sets matter today? What skill sets are going to matter 5 years from now?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So I think we mentioned 10,000 engineers in your pocket, I believe. Look, on the engineering and product side, the skill set I think is definitely changing, right? People with deep experience here, people who come from that background, people who have experience coding agentic, coding generative, that is extremely, extremely valuable, right? Our teams are doing a great job. I think they're learning and adapting really quickly. So yes, the power of many more in your pocket is definitely evident. The business side is interesting, though. I think that that's a fascinating one because at the end of the day, and we've had our own internal panels on this and things like that with customers, a lot of them tell us, look, the output of the agentic is important. What it can do for my business is important, but that's not all I'm buying. I'm still buying people, and I'm still buying relationships, and I'm still buying strategy, and I'm buying trusted advising is what I need more than ever. So on the business side, it's a little bit different. It's about business development people, solutions-focused selling is going to continue to be a key there, but we still need them to do the thing they've always done, which is, that's the thing about our industry is it always comes back to relationships at the end of the day. Yeah. So the profile there doesn't necessarily change, I don't think. It adapts for sure, but that's going to be how I think we think about it over the next few years at least.
Got it. Same at Deep and Tender. Has it changed how you're building the business, how you're hiring, what skills matter?
Totally. So and this is not a perfect kind of rubric, but we kind of bucket everything into 3 levels of work. There's like routine work, knowledge work, and then judgment work, and like relationship work.
I like that.
And what's happening is the horizon of what is possible with AI has only moved up and up and up, that kind of that rubric, if you will. So we think that the routine work is going to increasingly be done by AI. Mm-hmm. And the knowledge work, like research, is going to increasingly be augmented by AI. And the category that will be left really untouched, but like highly informed, is going to be the relational work, like the judgment, like the parts of the business that can't be codified into a model. It'll be the way like that we relate to the world around us, where judgment, intuition, context, morality, ethics, like those are things that must be human by nature.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we are very much, I think, in this idea that we are going to be hiring way more people who are interfacing with our marketplace, more so than kind of hiring for people staffing for like internal operations at this end.
Going to Butler Till, when I first started exploring agentic as an industry, I was like, my God, this is going to transform agencies. Like I feel like it probably impacts, I think, agencies and your brand partners the most. How has that changed how you build Butler Till? How does that change how you hire and organize
Yeah.
agency?
Well, there are two key stakeholders in our business, our employee owners and our clients. And so anytime we're embracing new technology, we have to make sure that it makes sense for those two key constituencies. And so for our clients, we're adopting things that are in their best interest, that create greater efficiency, higher quality, faster speed. And for our employee owners, it often comes down to the experience. And so we embraced a lot of the AI tools early on because we wanted to make the experience of our employee owners better. And so we put it in their hands and we said, we want you to start playing around with this with the right guardrails, of course. And it's really interesting how quickly they all were to adopt. And so in terms of hiring, I think the two key traits for most companies are going to be agility and curiosity. So the reality is the roles that you're hiring today probably won't exist, not at least in the same shape or form, even a couple of years from now. So you need to be hiring people that are comfortable learning new skills. I mean, I don't even know what some of those skills are likely to be
I don't think anyone
24
does.
months from now. And so I think it's more about like the mindset of the people that you hire and not necessarily the experiences they've had, because we're all in uncharted territory at the moment.
Yeah, that interview question is like, how comfortable are you with the rapid state of change?
Yes.
How do you feel about constant change?
Yeah, so I often ask people that I'm interviewing, especially young people, how have they dealt with adversity? When have they learned something new? What do they do in their spare time to make sure that there's some evidence that they want to continue to learn? Because it's people that are stagnant that are ultimately going to be left behind. I guess that's obvious.
And what's your assessment of the current crop of candidates entering the industry that you're interviewing? Are they up for it? Are they up for the challenge? Generally, are they?
We've been really happy. I mean, we've hired over 100 people year to date at Butler Till, and so it's
Damn.
Yeah. We've been keeping our recruiters really, really busy, and I think that we've been pleasantly surprised. And it's a mix of all levels, but for entry level people, yes, I think it's really interesting because they are true AI natives,
Right.
which I think
Which you're looking
gives
for.
them an advantage. Yes, because sometimes it's harder to kind of retrain the middle layer of an organization on new tools than to hire people who just have known it since the beginning.
Yeah, you're living proof of the counter narrative that AI doesn't eliminate jobs. It's actually creating new jobs, just different types of jobs.
Totally different jobs, different experiences. But, ultimately as an employee owned company, we have an incentive to continue to grow without necessarily having to hire at the same rate of growth, if you will. And so I think it creates a really great advantage for us and all of our employee owners to want to adopt AI tools because ultimately, we're all sharing in the financial success of the company.
We need to socialize that story.
Yes.
That's a great story. What about publishers? How's it changing how you're growing people, you're building people? Inc.
Yeah, so
people as well.
people is obviously a very large part of the business. We got 41 other brands we all love equally, right? So that's it. We got over 1 million documents, and you might say okay, well that's lovely because I can now just write over 1 million documents in an afternoon with a couple of prompts, right? Not in fact how good content gets written. We committed early that we will never publish content written by a machine, right? Which may seem counterintuitive given our scale, but AI is, as we all know now, mathematically average content, right? If you want a commodity fact, the average answer is the right answer, mostly. I mean, Reddit and 4chan are in the training data, so not always, right? Careful what you go with, right? But we know that the thing that we need more of going forward, because inputs now power these systems, right? Your answer is only as good as what you put in. So we need more and better information going forward than we've ever had in the past. We have the biggest content production process and business in the US, by far. So this is a very, very exciting world to get into when there's a greater demand for more and more interesting questions than ever before. And because we're a large language business, right, we move a lot of words around every day. These models are incredibly helpful in the back office, helping with a lot of the grunt work. It's very AI assisted, very little AI replaced. And it's allowed us to really lean and build new and better experiences in ways we haven't done before. It does freak out our engineering team that non-engineers are building prototypes. They're getting over it. They're learning. We're figuring out how that collaboration works. And as the CIO, I have also been committing code to Bitbucket, and that scares the hell out of them. So
CIO's coding.
that's fun.
CIO's coding.
That's fun. But no, it's good.
Last question, we'll close with this, so people can go back with some action items, and there were a few brands and agencies in the room. for those that are curious about kicking off some agentic test or trying AI in their organization. JR, we'll start with you and just go down the line. Next Monday, when everyone's back in the office, what's a pragmatic step they should take in terms of starting that journey?
I think the people are at all stages, right? If this is something you're dipping your toe into, get a spreadsheet with data that you would hack through on a daily basis. Everybody here has one. Throw it into Claude, ask questions, figure out what works, and find where it fails. Much more useful to break it, right? Because then you're going to start to get confident in how to deal with it. If you're further down the learning curve, like get data sets from other people or get a standard that you haven't worked with. I hear the IAB has a few of those. And just see how quick it is to build against the standard. Because you don't need to understand it all. You just like, build me an agent that can go work with the content monetization protocol or the agentic buying protocol or any of these protocols.
It's less than 30 minutes.
See how, like, you will have something up and running in no time. It will then lie to you. So then figure out how to make it not lie.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's experimentation. You got to put the tools in the people's hands. And for us, we started with the leadership team. And so we were the first ones to adopt a lot of the tools. And we used to have, I would say, like almost contest. We'd bring together and say, hey, what have you done lately? And it could be personal, it could be professional. But we wanted to create this environment of experimentation and kind of lead by example.
You started a culture change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we very early on committed to opening up access to everybody, to Anthropic and ChatGPT, and just getting them, like, just using the tools, so that experimentation phase. And then I think myself included, we were modeling the behavior of like experimentation, putting stuff out there, getting reactions, kind of seeing and kind of discovering ways to actually integrate it and implement it. And actually the benefit, the upshot is that we're developing AI-driven products. We're also retooling how we operate the company today with AI. And actually the similarities between the two different, like the internal and the external facing stuff, the knowledge transfer and like just the ability for us to learn and kind of share notes about how we're changing our business around AI and how we think our clients are changing their businesses as well. It's actually allowing us to build better products for our customers. So I think just experimentation and then like modeling it and finding those like champions of it, super important.
Tyler, take us home.
Experimentation for sure, but if I had to say something different, I would say challenge your partners and ask questions. This is coming from an ad tech person speaking to agencies and brands or publishers, but every company is an AI company now. They're all pitching you something, right? Meaning, how do you cut through that BS to get to what's underneath it is super important, right? Because we always say, look, more agents are not going to save your business, but better inputs into that will, right? So it's about the foundation and what's going into those. It's not about people out doing the latest demo that isn't built on a foundation of transparency, trust, and solid tech.
What I hear there is data cleanliness, data fidelity. Like now's the time to clean that up.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Garbage in,
I've
garbage
said
out.
that on several panels today. Geigo, garbage in, garbage out.
We actually hired a data ontologist for that exact problem. So that's like a new role and so that person's job is just to clean up, build taxonomies, and actually build the connections between data sets. I'm like, 1 year from now, mark my word, this will be the hottest job. It's like the most important job.
AI will make really good bad decisions on bad data with confidence.
It'll
Confidence.
It'll accelerate it.
And humans have never done that.
True. It'll just do it faster than us, right? So I want to thank my panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you,
Thank you.
OpenX, for hosting.
Thank you.
Have a great camp.